Right, let me put in the morning briefing thing.
Hello and welcome to the morning briefing. That was a bit of an odd start. I hit live before Derek was ready. No problems there. Derek, how you doing, pal? You're out there still in Leipzig, and you've been at the press conference this morning with Giovanni van Bronckhorst. So let's start there and get dug into what you had to say. Obviously, it's a bit of a strange one in that you spoke to him last night at nearly midnight, and then 7 or so hours later, 8 hours later, you speak to him again. So there's presumably not that much different he had to say. But I think the one thing that's emerged overnight, and we've covered this on the website, is the idea that perhaps, well, I don't even think it's a perhaps. I mean, for me, it's a definite. You know, their goal, Leipzig's goal, should have been called as offside, and he had something to say about that, didn't he?
Yeah, I asked him about that, Johnny, because I seen that when I get back to my hotel last night, I seen that the piece that was up and the boy was sort of in Alan McGregor's eye line. So I asked him about this, and he did feel that it should have been flagged for offside. He said he believes it was checked for VAR. Angelino hit it almost perfect, but you want your goalkeeper to have a chance of getting there. And he says he doesn't think that VAR looked at the two players that were in Alan McGregor's eye line. So he certainly feels that it was a goal that shouldn't have been allowed, Johnny. And I think he's got an argument for that. But he was he said as well that you just need to move on. There's no way it can be overturned now, of course. So it's just full steam ahead to Thursday and concentrating on turning the tie around. But that was the main takeaway from the press conference this morning. It was good to, I know I spoke to him just a few hours ago, but it was good to be invited to the hotel this morning and speak to the manager at close hand. So that was good. And he's in good spirits heading into Sunday. Of course, it's a short turnaround time. Expect changes. I think there's no doubt about it. He's going to have to keep the squad fresh heading into the game. Thursday is a bigger game. I know it's hard to say that because Celtic, of course, it's an Old Firm game, but the league realistically is out of sight, and with an opportunity to reach a European final, I think supporters are all. I think they're all focused on next Thursday as well. So it's a game that Rangers could do without, I think, Jonny, on Sunday.
Yeah, listen, there's never a non-important Old Firm game, but you have to take into account that even if Rangers win, in the remaining 3 games, and I'm right in saying there would be 3 games after that, Derek, that Celtic would have to drop points in 2 of the 3 games and lose one of them for Rangers to have any chance of winning the league. And given Celtic's form and given who they're playing, it just seems an enormous jump. But just on that goal, I just want to touch on it, as Gallant Pioneers saying there. The thing is see when you watch it again, Derek, and you actually watch it through the lens of this rule, which is stated in IFAB that if you're in the keeper's eye line, then you are offside. The thing about it that sort of sticks on my craw a little bit in terms of why VAR didn't pick it up, the player, and it's not clear from the TV pictures because they're not pin sharp enough, but the player who's the furthest offside, and there's 2 in Alan McGregor's way, but the one that's most clearly in the way actually jumps out of the way of the ball, Derek. If you watch it closely, he moves his body shape and goes like that to get out of the way of the ball. So it's absolutely bizarre that VAR didn't pick that up. Presumably they just didn't think, oh, well, he's interfering with play, he's interfering with the eyesight. I get that it's a wonderful strike from 25 yards. So most of the time these goals are perfectly acceptable. But the fact that the guy has to literally jump out the way tells you everything you need to know about the trajectory of the ball and his influence on that. And if you're a goalkeeper, and I was a goalkeeper when I was a kid, I can tell you, it's very straightforward. If someone is standing in front of the ball, 5 yards in front of you, and jumps out the way like that, you've not got a chance of getting down to that shot.
Yeah, I think he's quite right in feeling hard done by Van Bronckhorst with that goal that went in. Like I say, at the time when you're at the ground, you're thinking it's just a fabulous strike from the boy. But when you look at the stills, nice to meet you too, Andy. A number of supporters actually came up and spoke to me and Joshua yesterday, so very appreciative of that. So thank you. But listen, it is what it is. You need to move on. It shouldn't have stood, in my opinion, and of course the manager agreed with that. There weren't too many protestations, I don't think, when the goal went in from the Rangers players, but you're looking towards the officials to look at that and look at those angles, and they've clearly missed it, Johnny. They've clearly not looked at that still where the players are clearly in Alan McGregor's eye line. But it is what it is. Rangers need to move on from it and not feel hard done by, because if they let that manifest at Ibrox, it could prove fatal.
I'll be honest, Derek. I don't think the first guy is necessarily in his eye line. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say, because you'd obviously need a behind the camera vantage point, behind the goal vantage point. But the second guy, as I say, the second guy is literally diving out the way of the ball. And that to me just means it needed to be looked at. But listen, it was a key moment in the game, but there was a lot going on in that game. My own opinion might be controversial. I thought that they just shaded it. You know, they had two very good chances in the game. Yeah. One from, I think one that went over the bar, and then a header from Nkunku that on another day, I think both those would have gone in. Rangers, in terms of the chances that they created, there was a lot of good opportunities, but maybe not quite the end result to those opportunities. You know, great moments, great breaks where you thought this is on, and then just didn't quite come off for whatever reason. There wasn't much in the game at all. I mean, I think the expected goals were something like 0.8 against 0.33. So,
yeah,
you know, a 1-0 is probably about right, give or take. And a lot of the time, this game would have been 0-0. But that's not, to me, a big deal. I think, I mean, you were there, Derek. You can tell me. But, I mean, I'm watching the videos. Ryan Jack and Giovanni van Bronckhorst, to me, they looked confident, very confident going into the second leg.
Yeah, and I noticed it was very much like Braga at the end of that game, where they were celebrating as if they'd gone through. They were absolutely delighted. And I'm thinking to myself that they still need to come to Ibrox with that crowd behind the team. If Rangers get an early goal, then it's game on. I think most supporters would have taken a 1-0 or a narrow defeat before the game started. Of course, when you're so close to achieving a 0-0 result, it hurts. It hurts a bit with regards to that, but I agree with you, Johnny. I think Leipzig just shaded it. I thought Rangers were really disciplined, however. Evoking memories at Walter Smith's side back in 2008. It was just up top. They just lacked a guy that could hold the ball up and bring players into play around about him. I think when Joe Rebo was moved higher up in the second half, the Rangers had a bit of joy from that. But I see a few comments coming about Scott Wright. It was a big occasion for him last night. He just looked overawed, unfortunately. And it's massive. If Rangers can get Aaron Ramsey and Kemar Roofe back fit for that game on Thursday, then it helps Rangers massively. But yeah,
I don't think Aaron Ramsey is going to be fit for that game.
Do you not think? Well,
I think Kemar Roofe's got a chance, but I think Aaron Ramsey, given his on again, off again status with his injuries, I think it's a big game to just throw him in after having a few weeks out. You know, well, how many weeks is it? Maybe 2 weeks out. I don't know. You know, they'll know better than me, but it would seem to be a big gamble.
Yeah, but Rangers just need a bit more quality in the final third.
Yeah,
last night that was evident.
I mean, you saying there, Wright isn't good enough for Rangers. I think that's a bit strong. I know
at less level he isn't, Johnny. It's at less level. It was hard to watch at times, giving the ball away, just decision making, dallying on the ball, and you need better than that at this stage of the competition, which is just the way it is. That's the sort of player he is, unfortunately. Rangers, of course, down to the bare bones up top, but defensively, I thought they were so well organised, disciplined. I know Calvin Bassey was coming for a lot of plaudits. I thought he was terrific again last night. So it's going to be a different approach, of course, at Ibrox. I'm not too sure if it'll be quite as gung-ho as we've seen against Braga, because Leipzig, for me, are a step above, but they're no I think Dortmund are on a similar level to them, to Leipzig. I don't think that they're by far and away a better team. Although I asked Ryan Jack last night where they rank, and he says that they're right up there. They've got supreme individual talent. There's no doubt about it. But he said that he praised the coaching staff for them having well drilled, well organised, and keeping an eye on the key players that they had to keep an eye on. And Kunku, as you mentioned, how he's missed that open goal is beyond me. No idea how he's blazed that over the bar. Of course, he's had his header as well, but relatively a quiet night apart from that. But it would be key to keeping him quiet at Ibrox if the Rangers are going to get a positive result.
If anyone's wondering why a strange man is walking across the background of Derek's image, it's nothing dodgy. It's his dad. So Twitter goes wild with speculation. So yeah, I mean, the one thing, Derek, I mean, for me, the way that Rangers went about the game tactically, I mean, I wrote last night, I thought it was a tactical masterclass by Giovanni van Bronckhorst. I thought he played the game really cleverly, and I understand why people are making reference to 2008, because the team were really disciplined and extremely defensive. But actually, I've got to be honest, I don't know how controversial this is going to be, so I'm just going to weigh in. I think this team's a lot better than the 2008 team. I really do.
Yeah, I agree, Johnny. Yeah,
the 2008 team was incredibly disciplined, incredibly well drilled, managed brilliantly by Walter Smith, but really limited and got lucky. Hello, I thought it was a Butler. And got lucky in a few games on the way. You know, it was hard going at times. This team have been playing football against the best. You know, they've been getting the ball down and winning games via being the better side against really good teams like Dortmund, Red Star are no mugs, Braga are no mugs. And I thought even last night they were threatening on the break. It never quite came off, but they were threatening. I thought there was a level of control to what they did last night that maybe was absent in 2008. You know, Fiorentina battered Rangers. Yeah. Everyone who was there, everyone who watched it knows. Christian Vieri puts one over the bar from about 4 yards. You know, one of the greatest strikers in Italian history. And they had several chances, Fiorentina, throughout the game. It was really backs to the wall. I don't know if, I think I've only seen that game once, but obviously you've seen the clips many times. But my memory of that game was just that it was extremely stressful watching that game in its entirety. That Fiorentina just felt like it was wave after wave after wave.
Yeah. Bremen was the same. It was just a case of backs to the wall and try and hit on the counter. But this Rangers team outplay teams on the continent.
And I don't think it was necessarily backs to the wall last night. You know,
no.
I felt like Rangers set up deliberately to force Leipzig to play in front of them. Yeah. And that's what they did. They didn't really play through them. So, yeah, I thought that I think this Rangers team is better than the 2008 version and significantly better. And I think they can go to they can take on Leipzig at Ibrox and win. Yeah. And I think we all know Ibrox has been absolutely unbelievable this year. It's been the special sauce. It's been the difference. And I think it's going to be absolutely the difference in this next game. I noticed people are saying, do you remember that Daniel Kuzan got stupidly sent off? But I think that was an extra time, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was.
I mean, the game was, I'm talking about the game in its totality, John.
I'm still upset about that because he would have been, if he was available for the final, I think.
He'd have been huge in the final.
Yeah.
He was a guy that, I mean, Daniel Kuzan, without getting into going completely off topic, Daniel Kuzan was one of these guys that on his day was like a £20 million player, but his day came around five days a season.
Yeah.
But when he was in the mood, he was absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that against Celtic. I've never seen a centre half ragdolled the way Daniel Kuzan ragdolled Gary Caldwell. And Gary Caldwell was a decent centre half at SPFL level.
Yeah.
Went on to have a good career, win the FA Cup with Wigan, and etc. And Kuzan absolutely bullied him that day. But it was a That was an unbelievably stupid moment, when Kuzan headbutted him. But anyway, let's move on. We're getting caught up with all this 2008 chat. In terms of the game itself, looking ahead to Ibrox, Derek, we saw against Braga that 1-0 win, it's a good result for Leipzig, but it's very, very achievable to overturn that.
Yeah.
Leipzig are a good team. But did you see anything from them that made you really concerned? Going forward, I thought Dortmund were maybe better than them.
Yeah. And Kunku's their main man, of course, and Angelino scored the goal, of course, as a threat. There's no doubt about it. But that aside, that the crowd were getting a bit tetchy when there was a few misplaced passes as the match was wearing on. And I think with the Ibrox crowd behind them, I think Rangers, I'm not too sure if they'll start gung-ho like they did against Braga. I would like to see them too, and just throw the kitchen sink at them and see how they get on. I think the cleaners just came to chuck us out the room, Johnny, but I'll carry on anyway.
Carry on regardless.
I think it's going to be a right good atmosphere, and yeah, I'm like you. I think they've got it in them to overturn this match. They just need to win the game, Johnny. Just concentrate on winning the game and then take it from there. But they certainly have the quality to do that, and I wouldn't be fearful about Leipzig. And when the manager came into the press conference afterwards, I felt like he was talking as Rangers after a long ball team and how they're easy to play against, and they're just trying to frustrate. But Rangers won't be like that next week. I think Leipzig are in for a right evening, and with the crowd behind the players, Ibrox will be rocking, and let's see how they stand up to that.
Yeah, CGM 55 said they were missing 3 good players to suspension, and that'll make them better at Ibrox. That may well be the case, but we know and we've seen already the difference that the 12th man can make. And I think Rangers will very possibly have 1, if not 2 players back that could make a significant difference to the attacking edge. I think it's all set up to be one of the great European nights. And if you could put 100,000 people into Ibrox, I think they would be able to sell that one completely out, Derek. It's going to be spectacular. And we'll obviously be there looking forward to it. But I think the main message is it's actually a good result. It's not very often you'll hear us coming on here and saying a defeat for Rangers is a good result. But this one definitely is. And the main thing that we all felt was you go away from home in the first game and it needs to be alive in the second game. 1-0, 2-0 at a push, but certainly 1-0 a decent result. If it was a draw, obviously, which it looked like it was going to be, that would have been sensational.
Yeah.
But 1-0, you've got to say you take that. You go into Ibrox, winner takes everything. Shot in the final. It looks like it's going to be Eintracht Frankfurt, who are a good team, but not as good as Leipzig, who are not as good as Dortmund. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, West Ham have the quality to knock out Frankfurt in the second leg. They're a very good team, so we'll see how that goes. But Rangers have to concentrate on this away leg, this home leg, and it certainly looks like it's all there for the taking. Now, listen, I'm going to let you check out, Derek, because it looks like the Germans are going to be knocking on the door and getting there. They're not happy about this ongoing.
They're not fans of the show. They're not fans of the show, Johnny. Let's put it that way.
No, they're not. Okay, so we'll let you get out your hotel room and get on your way. But Derek, thanks very much for joining me, guys. As you know, Derek, you can just go, just to head off. I'll just do my blurb. Thanks, guys. It's £1 to join the website at the moment. Please come on and support us there. We can't do this without your support. We need you to go on there and subscribe to help keep us in doing what we're doing in terms of these daily morning updates, which we know you love. So get onto there, therangersreview.co.uk, and sign up for just £1 for the first 2 months. It's not just that. You don't just get access to the website and all the stuff that we're doing. You also get the opportunity to win a signed Rangers shirt. Every single member of the Ibrox first team will have their signature on that bad boy. And if you win that, you're looking at a piece of Rangers history, given the way things are looking at the moment. I think that would be an unbelievable gift for someone, or an unbelievable thing to have in your possession. Absolutely tremendous. So pop on there and subscribe. Give us your support. It would mean a hell of a lot to us. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching. Obviously, if you haven't hit subscribe, hit that, and you will be able to get an update whenever we go live. Someone's saying that I have bed here. Yes, I do. It was a very late night. It was a very early morning. It's a shocker, I know, but, you know, pride comes before the fall and all that. So, you know, just throw myself out here for you guys to make sure you're entertained. You can all laugh at my absolutely ridiculous hair. But listen, I think a good night overall for Rangers last night. The win would have been spectacular. A draw would have been fantastic. But to only lose 1-0, it really does mean that it's very much alive in this second leg. So we'll all look forward to that. We, of course, will be there. Derek and Joshua will be at Ibrox for that one. We will have every kick of that game, every kick on the road to Seville at the Rangers Review. So follow us there. Until next time, thanks for watching.